Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Camilla Carrara, Project Coordinator at C.L.A.S.S. I'm really pleased to welcome you all today to the session Introducing Born in the Andes. Now, I'm extremely pleased to present our today's speakers. Giusy Bettoni, CEO and founder of C.L.A.S.S, Mario Mancini, President Progettomondo, Ettore Piacenza, General Director Piacenza 1733, Patrizia Maggia, President Agenzia Lane d'Italia, Kelly Weldon, Standards Specialist Textile Exchange, that will also introduce the responsible Alpaca standard. Enjoy your vision.
So good morning, good afternoon to everybody. Thanks to be with us. I'm Giusy Bettoni, and I'm running the C.L.A.S.S platform. C.L.A.S.S since 2007 is trying to integrate through information consultancy materials, all our communication tools to integrate responsibility, sustainability into the fashion and textile area. And today, we are dedicating this smart voice to a very challenging from one point of view, but really fascinating, initiative that is called Born in the Andes. And it's a story about cultures, not just one culture, because there are many countries and cultures involved, heritage, partnership, but a lot of design, quality and responsibility. And it's a conversation about communities of people and territories. I've been fascinated when Patrizia was talking to me about this ancestral textile culture of Andean people that, they're always used looms and textile to narrate their history, experiences, their way to read the world and, to perpetuate a know-how. So I'm really pleased today, to share with you this initiative that has come out, has been achieved, and is going to be featured in this, hand-woven collection that is called Born in the Andes. It's basically the key point of heritage weaving culture, meeting contemporary design and creating really a new generation of values that are able to include all the dimensions that C.L.A.S.S is about. So design, where design is a style for sure, but it's a way of doing things. It's thinking about the impact that creating means on the people, on the animals, and here Alpaca is really an important matter, and on the environment. It's about innovation because we create something that was not existing before. And we at C.L.A.S.S are really proud of it because, I'm really sorry today you cannot touch it, but we will have the collection here at C.L.A.S.S and we can set up meeting, we can set up, a deeper session to share with you, and we have a know-how that is coming from many cultures that has been, used for an achievement that we will share with you through some amazing pictures, but that very soon we can have a look all together. And responsibility, because it's human-centric. We talk about human, we talk about animal, we talk about, highlighting the creativity and the skill of each single people that participated in making, finishing, communicating, this exercise. So let's talk a little bit. I do not want really to lose time in chats because we have here the key players of this amazing adventure and amazing initiative. Let's start from Mario Mancini, the president of Progettomondo, that is going to be on stage now. So Mario Mancini, president of Progettomondo for 6 years. He has been working in international development cooperation since 1990. So we have quite an experience there. And in 2015, he returned to Italy with a very important aim of having a new human and professional experience. So the defense of the human rights and the commitment to ensure a dignified life for all. So Mario, who is Progettomondo, what it does, which is its objectives, and thanks to be here, please.
Yeah, thank you for this invitation and to C.L.A.S.S for organizing this webinar. Progettomondo is an Italian NGO founded in 1966. We started in Latin America first, and today we are active in North Africa and Sub-Saharan countries as well. In Italy and Europe, we promote global education and other forms of mobilization of public awareness on climate change in favor of intercultural dialogue and against all forms of discrimination, racism, and xenophobia. Progettomondo intends to be an agent of change, a builder of alliance, promoter of exchanges between people and dialogue between cultures by affirming the principle of co-responsibility. We mobilize to reduce economic and social inequalities within countries and between different areas of the world. By overcoming the logic of aid dependency, we respond to the needs of the communities and countries where we work, enhancing existing resources, valuing diversity, and achieving impact that lasts over time. For these reasons, we work together with local associations and institutions, with other actors of international development, cooperation, and solidarity, by building a partnership system that shares the same objectives. For the commitment of today, the Born in the Andes, we are promoting for several years the project Weaving Solidarity. That is a part of an intervention strategy that Progettomondo has been carrying out for more than 15 years in Peru and Bolivia. The project intends to strengthen the fair value chains that promote local production, enhancing culture and traditional textile art. The strengthening of local organization is a key aspect that leads to the sustainability of the expected change. Also, the leading role of women is the cross-cutting approach on which we focus this strategic commitment. In particular, the project is carried out on two value chains, closely connected to each other. First, the breeding of Andean camelids and the collection process of fine fiber. Second, the traditional and adapted textile art. In the first value chain, we worked with families and breeders' communities by creating innovations for the genetic improvement of alpaca flock, for the animal welfare, the environmental protection, and for the optimization of the processes of shearing, classification, and harvesting of fiber. The principal focus is on traceability in every step of the process to add value to the quality of the products. We do so by focusing on the work of the people who take care of this process, especially women. Regarding to the textile and art supply chain, we work with groups and organizations of textile artisans to diversify, innovate, and raise the quality of the products for different national and international markets. And even in this case, the aim is to enhance the role of women as an economic agent and bearer of the values and culture. We are involving local organizations that are directly engaged. In Bolivia, we have OEPAIC and COPROCA, that are second-level entities that group together various grassroots organizations. But in Peru, we have C.L.A.S.S, C.L.A.S.S, and their affiliated organizations. The Italian involved partners are the University of Camerino, especially in the field of improvements, genetic improvements, and the NGO ISCOS Emilia-Romagna and DOCICA. But to carry out this work and reach all expected results, we rely on the competence, professionalism, and passion of Italian excellences in the sector. Piacenza Kashmir and the Lana d'Italia agency, part of the Biella Textile Cluster, one of the most important of the world, have been participating with us in this initiative for several years, providing innovation designs and technical assistance to Peruvian and Bolivian organizations involved. In fact, Born in the Andes is one of the most important achievements of their specific contribution. For Progettomondo, the work with textile artists and Andean camel breeders represents a way to restore human and economic values towards millenarian cultures and people committed to building a better future. Weaving Solidarity project is carried out in an extraordinary natural environment and landscape, the Andean Plateau, where an impressive yet fragile ecosystem coexists with the families that live there, capable of adapting to the times with innovative production that allow to development of local communities. With Born in the Andes, we intend to show to the world that this fair value chain made up of guardians of biodiversity and heritage of culture is the best way to produce a real change on our planet in search of sustainability. So the partnership with C.L.A.S.S represents a great opportunity to promote Born in the Andes textile collection. Thanks to the work carried out with the Mestieri d'Arte Contemporaneo Biella, these highly innovative collections, which combine ancestral techniques, fine raw materials, and contemporary designs, are being promoted for the international fashion markets. So today, a really important step begins, and a qualitative improvement based on innovation. Thank you to C.L.A.S.S, to Mestieri d'Arte Contemporanea, Piacenza Kashmir, e Agenzia Lanea Italia for sharing their experience and competence.
Thank you so much, Mario, and thanks because I know, and what you have been telling us in this moment shows very well, it's not so easy, to create something like that, putting all the realities, the local realities in Peru and Bolivia, these, experts all over the world and association in order to respect everybody, because it's not just making something in a country and take to another one. It's building and creating together, respecting the creativity, the skill of each single one in order to be even more rich, and even more effective, and, to be really dedicated, as you well said, to human-centering, deliver something innovative, responsible, and very beautiful. Nice video, but take us there.
Mira, la riqueza de un país o de un departamento o de un distrito y de una comunidad es su gente.
Acá en esta zona que es altura, casi no hay otros productos, otros recursos. Si lo trabajamos solamente netamente con las alpacas, no sería tan suficientes las necesidades económicas que queremos satisfacer de cada comunero.
¿Y en qué trabaja tu papá, en Rinconada?
Mina.
En mina. ¿Y qué hace tu papá en la mina? A ver, ¿qué saca? Saca oro.
Estamos bien nomás con los apoyos de los alpaqueros y nosotros también apoyamos a los alpaqueros. Poco a poco ya se están viniendo, ¿no? Nosotros queremos formar una cooperativa y queremos que sea todos los alpaqueros que seamos unidos, eso nosotros queremos.
Esta compañía se hace particular y especial porque si bien es sociedad anónima, los dueños de esta empresa son ganaderos en camellos.
80% que es mayoría de ellos, ¿ya? Se dedican a la minería. Como hay diferentes minas por estos lugares, ellos se van a trabajar. Bye.
Daily life for families living in high Andean regions is difficult, both for alpaca breeders and for miners. To support their work as breeders and face the constant challenges of life at 4,000 meters above sea level,
So, even more emotional. And as you can see from the people involved, how is critical, to make the real alpaca breeders to be leading their social, entrepreneurship and basically their work, with the help of many people. And, we were talking about heritage and cultures and design. So I would like to ask Patrizia Maggia, to be on stage. Patrizia Maggia is the president of the Italian Wool Agency and a textile consultant for international cooperation projects to enhance the Andean weaving technique and alpaca fiber in Peru and Bolivia. She has promoted and followed several projects and experiments aimed at strengthening native wools, cooperating with the Climate and Sustainability Foundation, the CNR of Florence, Sassari, and Biella. She has also worked for the Slow Food Biodiversity Foundation from the Chamber of Commerce of Nuoro, Oristani, Rieti, and Biella. And since 2019, she has been a member of the Committee of Experts for Textile category of the MAM Award, Master of Art and Craft at the Cologni Foundation in Milan. So an expert, of design, an expert of material, an expert of wool, And Patrizia, welcome. Really pleased to have you here. We have been talking about these projects, projects, plural, because that's the last one, but we have been doing many things together. Can you take us through, what is Born Indians from your perspective? Because we know it's a collection of hand-woven fabrics. It's a unique range that is highlighting a contemporary tale of beauty using your words. Please.
Thank you, Giusy. Sorry, my English is not so fluid. And in addition, today I completely out to the pollen allergy. It will be my daughter, Veronica, who knows my job and collaborates with me to speak for me. The slide illustrated the process that led to the creation of the Born in the Index collection, formed the first trip to the study of traditional fabrics in identification of textile patterns on which to work. Then the training of artisans in Italy, and the second trip for the analysis of woven pieces. Finally, the beautiful fabrics. And Veronica.
Thank you. Welcome, Veronica. So if you want to share your amazing slides, because there are amazing pictures of the materials that we are all waiting for as well.
I believe there is an intimate balance that generates beauty in nature, something perhaps unattainable for man, but which can inspire us. I have always considered it important to communicate and transmit beauty as an agent in our growth. Also because I have often found myself thinking, why should we consume natural resources to create a multitude of insignificant objects? These objects will fill our homes are often ugly and are not designed to last. Having attended a fine art academy in Biella and having an artistic training, I have shaped my sensitivity on beauty. Besides that, I have always felt in art, the most authentic expression is generated by the knowledge of hands. About 20 years ago, I founded an applied art center where artists, artisans, and designers worked together in a very stimulating and virtuous path that gave rise to a production based on a new awareness and where different know-hows cooperated and intertwined. And speaking of cooperation, being in Biella, one of the most important textile districts in the world, weaving played an important role in our activity. In the Applied Arts Center in Vienna, we encourage the use of manual looms and native wools, triggered by a collaboration with the wool agency of which I have become president over the years.
So these images of handlooms and people, you speak about beauty, you speak about, skills. Can you take us through, this amazing design? What is this collection made of? How many fabrics? Just tell us, talk to us about this amazing history.
This fantastic collection was born from the collaboration with Progettomondo and C.L.A.S, which I thank for involving me as a textile consultant and for giving me the opportunity to meet and collaborate with great masters, craftsmen, custodians of tradition and ancestral knowledge that are so authentic and to offer an expression of rare beauty. In addition to this, there was also a strong personal involvement as long as my mother was Peruvian, and I feel a deep bond with this culture.
So we are looking at a new generation of fashion textile here.
I went on my first trip to Bolivia and then to Peru in 2014, and in this occasion, I came to know some small artisan cooperatives. I was impressed to see them work with rudimentary tools, but also with a unique technique that expresses itself in an aesthetic language with a refined and modern design. The Andean textile culture is acknowledged as one of the most sophisticated in the world for what concerns the structures and the techniques of both ancient and contemporary artifacts. Their expressive strength and authenticity have remained intact, and even today they strengthen the identity, the real identity of the individual, underlying their position in society. They interweave memories and traditions that represents an invaluable cultural heritage. The enormous expressive richness of the textile heritage today lives through the work of the artisans who weave their lives with pride and great dignity, keeping their techniques and know-how intact, and that are the last heirs of a millenary tradition. And it's a millenary tradition because that focuses on the relationship with nature, with time, and could not be different, are 4,500 meters above sea level, where the air is so thin that it almost seems to purify the mind. At such an altitude, there is no room for superfluous elements, and once you are there, you immediately realize how this native population have been able to transform what is essential into art. I believe that this well expresses a new concept of luxury that cannot be not quantified in terms of money, but it is rich of values. This population express an important source of inspirations for us. On one hand, we can continue to take from them as we have always done. On the other hand, we can learn again what we have lost, which is to say, the right attitude towards nature and the environments that surrounds us.
I think, can we, sorry, but as the time is quite tight, okay, is really, that's are some slides about the visits, and we are very quickly going through. Can we, we would like to focus a little bit on the collection. Can you take us through the collection born in the Andes? Yes, please. So 12 fabrics, completely done with alpaca, 100%.
Yes, the designer of their fabrics are splendid, but even more fantastic is the raw material used, which is to say the alpaca fiber. This wool is produced by animals that live where the earth meets the sky, by animals bred with here because they often represent the only source of sustenance. In Bolivia, which is the second country in the world for alpaca breeding, there are no industrial shearing centers for chameleons. Following the tradition, breeders reject any abuse or mistreatments, and the practice of shearing is carried out in order to protect the animals from diseases and parasites that could harm them. For this population, these are natural, sustainable practices. They have always been adopted and that place the environments, that individuals and the social welfare at the center of their approach. I was fascinated by the beauty of their artifacts, and I realized their enormous potential, and I imagined that could have meant to use these precious fabrics to make unique and original garments with an important history. It was not a simple process. First of all, fabrics had never been woven by the meter, but exclusively for the purpose of the single item. Secondly, the textile design was not existent because everything was done thanks to individual memory. It was also necessary to work on the consistency of the fabric, to calculate the number of strings for centimeters in order to obtain a compact and well-beaten fabric. In the previous Ilando Culturas project, a group of artisans had come to Biella, and with the guidance of the master weavers of the MAC, the center that deals with the transmissions of the craft of art that I direct, these artisans had learned to transcribe the beautiful designs of the fabrics. That is how we succeeded in setting up our first sample book. Secondly, we concentrate on the effort to obtain the desired result when you touch the fabric after the felling. We managed to reach the satisfactory result thanks to the support of Lanificio Piacenza. Thirdly, we focused on the search of design and color combinations by exploring several variations that were partly due to the multitude of natural colors and shades of the alpaca fleece. The more the work progressed and the more I was amazed at the result achieved, the beauty of the fabrics was unique. It was amazing to the touch because it had a softness that only manual weaving is able to obtain, and there was a new growing awareness among the weavers as they began to understand the value of their know-how. To me, this was a great success. Sometimes you need an external look to understand how wonderful is what you have. Several times I told them how important it was to preserve their know-how, to defend it from the amplified rush of a consumerism that destroys the knowledge handed down for generations. I told them about the effort we make to restore the links broken by our modern industry. And in a few decades, such as industry changed needs by proposing new ones in a spiral of growth out of control. These are the damages we're trying to mend today.
This is amazing, really amazing work and background. You know, you can see the beauty, the real beauty that is, you know, taking care about an holistic view. That this is not just, okay, we have a new fabric, but we have really a new tale that is also an experience that means preciousness and values. So first, but maybe Ettore Piacenza.
So first of all, I want to share with you, I want to thank you for the invitation to this webinar today. And I want to share with you a little bit of the history of the company, what we are and what we do.
You know, the role of Piacenza in this project is double, really, because it's a company that from ever has always supported, you know, this cooperation project. and the kind of DNA of the company itself is toward, you know, the kind of look for the right material, traceability,
yes.
transparency.
Okay, so Fratelli Piacenza is a wool mill. Is based in Biella, to be specific, in Bologna. We specialize in the processing of the noble raw materials. We're very proud to be one of the oldest mills in the world, by having 350 years of history and being always ran by the family for 14 generations already. So a bit of a timeline of the company. In 1623, we already had some Piacenza families to be linked in the Comune of Pollone, and this is where they started moving their first steps in the wool industry, as they were merchants of wool. Then century by century, in the 20th century, the factory became all fully verticalized, and they expanded also to a mill in Torino where they were working with the military fabrics. And then it was shut down in the crisis of the 1929. Then after the crisis, the company evolved. They evolved in making collections for ladies wear, being more in high fashion. So we are moving from, let's say, menswear, military to more high fashion in the early 30s. Then in 1990, the company launched also his apparel division, which is basically cashmere knitwear for menswear and ladies wear. Today, as I said before, the company is driven by the 14th generation, which is myself, which I'm director for the wool mill, my brother, brand manager, and my cousin involved in the design team. My father, Carlo Piacenza, is a CEO, while my uncle is president of the company. Here are some pictures, old pictures from Fratelli Piacenza, and I think one emblematic pictures here is the picture on the left, which is the school, the textile school that was founded by Felice Piacenza, and it was the first textile school where people that were studying textile could actually put into practice in the machineries that were put into this school, and it was very innovative for the time. This is the company today. Before the pandemic, we were employing 260 people, more or less, which was pretty much split half and half between males and females. Our energy comes only from renewable sources, and our products that are used are 80% approved by MRSL, the zero discharge, and the 20% is to be substituted. These are some pictures that are testifying how the Piacenza family was always involved in traveling in the world, seeking for the best raw materials. As we can see, we have pictures by Mario Piacenza in the Himalayas, where he discovered in Kashmir in 1920. Then there's a picture of my father in Lago Titicaca while he was exploring also the alpaca fiber. Then more recently, my brother and myself on the left that were looking at some raw vicuna. This is a map where we source the raw materials around the world. The Australia comes from, the wool comes from New Zealand and Argentina. Kashmir and BB camel come from Alaskan region in China. Then we have the Kivyuk, Canadian muskox, which is comes from northern Canada or Greenland. And then we have the topic of today is vicuna and alpaca, which is sourced in Peru and Bolivia, in the Andes, generally speaking. Like I said before, we are a verticalized mill. We start from the selection of raw materials, then we spin it, we warp it, we weave it, we finish it, we dye it. So it's fully integrated.
And thank you very much, Ettore. And the only thing maybe to add is also the kind of role of you and Sergio Foglia inside this Born in the Ants collection, because we have been actively supporting the cooperation project with your expertise.
No, like I said before, the bond between Piacenza and Peru, South America, but Peru in particular, goes from many years ago. My father, when he was traveling in South America, he had the luck to meet my mother, so that makes me half Peruvian and mother tongue Spanish. So I'm very linked to Peru. I'm very fascinated by the people, by everything, and I really suggest everyone here that is listening today to visit, because it's a really beautiful country. So having the luck to travel to Peru every year to visit family, but also for work, as I also took the work from my father. So nowadays I am the procurement for the raw materials. I manage to also getting to know like fantastic people in the Andes. So that's before sustainability and traceability was in the textile industry. With Sergio Foglia, we already started to start some projects with the communities in Peru, and this is why that led us today to this project. When Mondo Mlam they asked us to join the project, we were very enthusiastic, as I think that sustainability and traceability is in the DNA of Piacenza. We really believe, but not so much as far as sustainability in the product of animal welfare, which is really important. But what is more important is social sustainability, because we believe that if we give the right support to the cooperatives, it's the main goal for sure. So the involvement of Piacenza in this project was basically in two different steps. The first step was to analyze, make a marketing research of the alpaca fiber and see how it's applied in the fashion industry. So we did that kind of research. The second research was to try to take the alpaca to a certification and traceability, just like it's done with the wool nowadays, with the RWS, which is the responsible wool standard. So we're trying to do the same thing for alpaca. Right now we are seeing that the documents that we have done so far, they are very much aligned with RWS, and I also think that with the textile exchange we are very much ahead in the project. To conclude everything, we need to find a certificator in South America, which we're working already with personnel from Italy, from Peru and Bolivia, in order to try to certificate these two cooperative pilots, one in Bolivia and one in Peru. So in this way, we're going to close the circle.
Very clear and really effective. Thank you, because we had already in the chat some question about traceability and certification, and you fully answer that is all ongoing process. And we'll have also Callie from Textile Exchange that is going to talk also about the alpaca certification that I know you are already talking in order to develop. Thank you very much, Ettore. Let's see if...
I just want to add one thing.
Please do, sorry. Sure.
I think that the main goal for the textile industry is to start to pay a premium price for the raw material, because the problem that I'm seeing in the Andes, we need to stimulate and improve the conditions of the alpaqueros, and also we need to stimulate the young people to stay there and work, because they're being more attracted by the biggest cities in Peru, like they go to Arequipa or to Lima, and they're abandoning this beautiful job. And I think that we need to stimulate in this way by paying a premium price to the alpaqueros. In this way, they're going to be able to create a real economy between the cooperation and invest in the cooperation. And in this way, I think this is where social responsibility stands.
Absolutely, and that is one, as Mario was mentioning at the beginning, is one of the main goals here, is to work with the best skill, the best resources, the best expert, in order to take these also to a new generation of consumer that today is looking for this kind of premium product. Before of the premium price, we have also premium product to, position, and the premium means not expensive, but, representing new values, because we need to talk about values and not just products, because each single product needs to stand for values. And in this case, the values are so many. And one of these, as you rightly said, is social as well. But it's beautiful. We have not yet seen them, but it's beautiful fabrics. We are talking about exceptional things. It's not just something that you can imagine. And I'm really sorry because of the technical problem and the fact we cannot touch. But as soon as you will see and touch them, you will understand that, it's something that you say, wow. And, we choose with the eyes. That is our first sense, but then when you know also the story behind it, you know, the heritages, the people, the skills, you know, it's something that we'll add on this. But let's see if Patrizia could reconnect. Camilla, do you have news?
Yes, she's connected. If,
okay, so that we can see also some pictures. Thank you very much, Ettore. Really, really great. Great contribution. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now I would like, you know, to talk to Kelly Weldon from Textile Exchange. And Textile Exchange is a global nonprofit organization that works closely with all sectors of the textile supply chain. And Textile Exchange identify and share the best practices regarding farming, materials, processing, traceability, product end of life to create positive impact on water, soil, air, animal, and human population created around the world by the textile industry. And Kelly Weldon has more than 10 years of experience working with sustainable textiles. And Kelly, you know, Alpaca, I know that Textile Exchange has just released the new standards, but for me, it's really, you know, emotional to, you know, to see what you can do with these, you know, amazing human beings, you know, all over the world. And now there is also protection, because we have been talking a lot about traceability and taking care of the animal. It's such an important part. And in this case, we have humans and animals that are part of the same goal and values. So Kelly, can you take us through about what does it mean, you know, this new certification also? I know that you are already talking to Piacenza and, you know, with this collection, you know, on how to tell the story also from a background, you know, perspective. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me and organizing this presentation, and having it in English. It would be really hard for me in Italian, so I appreciate it. But this is my favorite topic to speak about. I'm so excited to be here to talk about the Responsible Alpaca Standard. Alpaca in general is my favorite material personally, and then just in terms of my background, I lived in the Sacred Valley of Peru for 2 years in Ollantaytambo. I worked with a women's weaving cooperative there, trying to help build a wholesale channel for merging their textiles into US markets. And while I was living there, I got to know a lot of their partners and their husbands that were alpaqueros, which kind of sparked my interest in working and being a part of this farming system. I think there's been a great overview of what the farming system looks like so far. It's in the highlands, it's very remote. It's mostly made up of smallholder farmers. On average, the alpaquero has about 46 animals, which is very different compared to some of the other fibers and materials that Textile Exchange works with in particular. But we're really excited to be launching our Responsible Alpaca Standard, and this joins our family of responsible animal fiber standards. So I'll briefly take you through kind of the family of standards that we offer. And, you know, Textile Exchange does a lot more work than the standards. So if you're interested, please get in touch with us. But I work particularly on the standards team, and specifically with the responsible animal fiber standards. So we have the wool standard, the mohair standard. As of last year, we added the mohair standard. And then this year we launched our responsible alpaca standard as of April 20th. So this process was over a year-long process to develop the standard and add it to our portfolio. We started off with a research phase that lasted about 3 months, and then entered into our development process with our international working group. I see somebody on the call was part of this international working group. Guillermo's here. And this process is a really collaborative building process where we drafted the requirements for the standard. We worked with producer groups, we worked with processors, we worked with industry members and brands to really make sure that what we were putting out into the world for requirements and for what the standard would look like would be adapted and implemented in the industry seamlessly without it being unattainable. So we're really proud to have launched this in April, and I'll take you quickly through some of the specifics about the standard. So within all of our animal welfare standards, we offer, animal fiber standards. We have an animal welfare section, we have a land management section, there's a social welfare section, And then we also use a chain of custody system, which follows the material from the farm level all the way to the final product. So when brands make claims about their items, they know exactly the amount of certified material that is ending up in their final product. And then we also have an optional slaughter module in there for byproducts of alpaca. This is mostly applied with the wool industry, with lanolin and beauty products, but there are some byproducts of alpaca that this standard would apply to as well. In terms of animal welfare for the alpacas, this farming system has such a high potential for both impact on animal welfare, but also land management, which I'll touch on in a second. The husbandry needs, the behavioral freedoms, the animal health of the alpaca, it's such a high potential because of the extensive grazing and the free range system that alpacas live on, compared to other animal pasture-based systems like wool. It's really, they are very free range up there. If you visited Peru, you know that the highlands are very expansive. So the responsible alpaca standard ensures that this high welfare potential is realized through the requirements that we've set out. So the standard in the farms are audited to make sure that the best practices are happening on farm and also in the supply chain. So we can make sure that these welfare goods are delivered to the alpacas. In terms of land management, impact potential is really, really high just because of the free-ranging environment that I mentioned. There's a huge potential for biodiversity, soil health, healthy grazing practices. Alpacas have soft padded feet and not hooves, so there's less risk of erosion while they're grazing. I know that overgrazing is something that is mentioned with alpacas specifically, and so this is just an example of a seeding project that happened in the highlands. I think this is about 18,000 feet, which I'm not sure what that is in meters, but just you can see on the left-hand side, that is during the dry season, what the land normally looks like. And on the right-hand side, this is an image of just seeding basic grass seeds onto the land. And that would, increase the output of being able to graze alpacas by, 20 times based on that output. So there's a huge impact potential here to be realized, and hopefully the standard can help promote that. In terms of supply, with the standard launching, we've had 2 implementation proposals for a 5-year supply build planned, which will cover about 80% of farmers in Peru. So that's really exciting. This is not just being designed for the large scale farmers. This is really intended to reach the small scale farmers that are living in the highlands. We are working with the industry association to form a board of advisors with a C.L.A.S.S for funding and adoption strategy. I think somebody else mentioned that the on-the-ground need for implementation funding and for capacity building is really real. And so we're building a model where we can match funds from brands and supply chain members directly to the farmers to make sure that they're receiving veterinary training, capacity building, and really just to run promotional campaigns, radio campaigns to spread the word. That funding mechanism will pilot this summer in Peru, and then we hope to launch the official program in the fall across all of our animal fiber standards. So right now, on-farm certification is happening. We have a handful of farms that have already applied for certification, and the next shearing season begins in November. So that's when November through May, we'll start having some certified fiber come out into the supply chain. And then in terms of supply chain certification, that can happen anytime. If you are already RWS certified or RMS certified, you automatically are able to process alpaca as well. And if you're not certified and you're interested in processing certified alpaca material, you can start that certification process anytime. But I know we're short on time, so I'll leave it at that. But if there's any questions, I'll leave some resources and contact information for follow-up afterwards.
Thank you very much, Callie. Really to the point, quickly, very open and clear. So, today we try to take you through, in our best way, because as you can see, sometimes technical problems arise through the journey of Born in the Ants collection. And as you can see, it's really done by a multi, players that are all completely interconnected, because that's what we need to do good things, to know good design, where design means how we create, how we make things. And, we have the quality, we have the knowledge, we have the skills, we have the creativity, and the skills and creativity are coming from all the different steps, you know, from Peru, Bolivia, Biella, you know, at weaving side, and, you know, the fact that we have fabrics that have some sort of structure that goes by the memory of the people, and that is free to tell a story through fabrics, through, you know, the kind of structure of the fabrics. Amazing, but also respecting animals, respecting people, putting human and the environment at the center, you know, it's something that is quite special. So basically C.L.A.S.S is going to have, as I was mentioning at the beginning, we'll have this, you know, collection, and we're very proud of it. And we will be in charge to promote, you know, toward brands, retailers, you know, in a very selected way, because it's a very special positioning into the market. So thanks again to all the speakers. Congratulations to, you know, all the people that made this project become true. And please contact us for any further information if you want to see the collection, you know, and if we want to go deeper in each aspect of the Born in the And, you know, partnership behind and collection that is going to present now to the world. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.